Hey everyone, welcome to Craving Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Now in this video, I'm going to discuss something that I've been wanting to make a video about for well over a week now, and I decided today was just going to be the day to make it happen. So that's what I'm doing now. So my friend Nate Reagan had an exclusive on his channel over at Reagan Productions. It's been, like I say, over a week. It's probably been close to 2 weeks now, where he shared a very late draft of the Scream 6 script and pointed out several key differences from what they decided to film in the movie compared to the script. So I have decided to focus on just a few of them. There's actually quite a few things, but I'm going to just make this video for the sake of time. I'm going to focus on just a few of them for you. And thanks to Nate, we get to pull back the curtain and see a few things that could have been in Scream 6. Let's go!
It's David Arquette, Dewey from the Scream movies, as you know. Remember, there's only one rule to surviving a horror movie, and that's subscribing to Craving Something Scary.
So again, shout out to Nate Reagan for bringing this exclusive production script that has pink revisions done on June 7th, 2022 to us. That means it's a very, very late script. And he even mentions that he's not aware of there being another script that really had major rewrites. This is really close to filming. So be sure you watch his video on the Reagan Productions channel to see all the differences he highlighted, because he does a lot. So you can also see a great breakdown of what Nate did in his video over on Twitter on Tristan's feed, which you can find at Brittany Vinyl. Great breakdown there as well. So be sure you check out all of this stuff together after this video so you get the full picture. All right, now let's get into some of these differences. Now I'm going to start with really what I consider to be a big one, maybe the biggest one for me anyway, and it's dealing with Sidney Prescott. So number one, Nate gave us some important information. He stated that in the original draft that featured Sidney, she had about 5 minutes of screen time total in the movie, and it was mainly in the final act of the film. Also, the original draft of the script featuring Sidney, he says, will be leaked soon. So stay tuned for that. Once that leak becomes official, or is out there rather, I will be making an update video for you covering the actual content of that script and what Sidney's role and lines and all those things would have been. So be sure you subscribe, hit the bell notification, because you guys don't want to miss that video when it comes out. Now, this is interesting because it confirms some of those early rumors last summer. Remember when Nev went into the contract dispute, basically saying, she wasn't going to come on for salary reasons and all that. We all remember that very well. And the rumors were floating around then, way back then. This is probably May of last year, April, May, whenever it was. And maybe early June, but I think it was sooner than that. It was a long time ago. But the point is, the rumors were going around that Nev was only going to be in the movie for about 5 minutes. I remember that vividly. And that, she was only going to be in the movie for like 5 minutes, and it wasn't going to be a big part. And then the salary dispute came up and she did not return, and the rest is history. Then there was an interview that was done with Radio Silence, and they made a point to say that Sidney's role in the script, or Nev's role, was significant, and that it was not something that was minor. In fact, that they said they required lots of rewriting to take place. And I was like, okay, well, see, there is more to it. The rumor was wrong. Well, now, according to Nate, what he's sharing here is that the rumor looks to be true that we first heard is that it was about a 5-minute part. It was a very small part in 6, and radio silence, for whatever reason, I don't know what they were saying or what they were thinking when they said the opposite, but it doesn't match up with what we're going to probably be seeing in this script that's going to be leaked soon. So keep that in mind. But that's regarding Sidney, that's the big news. But there's another part that impacted Sidney that was in this script that was not done for the film, and it's something that I really wish would have been there. So it's basically the Baileys' plans for Sidney. So the Baileys actually talk about Sidney briefly in the 3rd act. And Detective Bailey basically explains to Sam and Tara what their plans are after the shrine scene, after they were intending to obviously kill everybody and be the survivors. And what they said was that after the New York City murders, they planned to hop on a plane to go to Seattle and murder Sidney and her family. And this included her children in front of her before killing Sidney herself. Now, I got to tell you, that's really dark. Okay, that's if Detective Bailey had said something like this in that shrine scene, it's not enough to go to Seattle and murder Sidney. That would have been one thing, but the script called for them to say murder Sidney and her family, including her children, in front of her, then Sidney. And that is really, really dark because basically Bailey wanted to kill everyone that was involved with Richie's death in 5. So his revenge extended to every single person involved, which included, of course, Sidney. So I personally wish, even though this is a really dark line, I actually do wish that would have stayed in there, because it really would have made it would have, in my opinion, it would have made them feel more menacing, more, much more dark. We didn't get any kind of dialogue like this in 6 from them. So this would have been powerful, and it would have been like, whoa. I guarantee you, I can picture it in my head. Like if I heard Bailey say that, I would have been like, dang, man, okay, whoa, this is they're not only crazy, they are like seriously depraved to the fact that they're gonna do that to her children in front of her. That's messed up. That's like seriously messed up on many levels. So I wish that would have stayed in. Don't know why they cut it. We don't know, but maybe they thought it was going too far, and that's possible. I could see that side of it too. But personally, I wish it would have been in there. It's a horror movie. All right. And then finally, I'm going to talk about one last thing for this video that I thought was very, very interesting as well. And that is around Gale's apartment attack, when Gale is attacked in her apartment. So in the script, it calls for Gale to be stabbed through the hand, I guess a la Olivia in 4 and Tara in 5, and the thigh before having a brutal fight with Ghostface. And it's described that Ghostface and Gale will charge at each other, punching, kicking, biting. I guess Gale's biting because he's got a mask on, and spitting blood on each other, which is intense. And then she's stabbed once more in the ribs with a knife. So my thoughts around this is, number one, I want to say this. The Gale attack scene we have in the apartment now is great. I love it. I think it's fantastic. It's very well choreographed, very well executed. It's one of the highlights of the whole movie for me, is that scene. In fact, it even won an MTV award for best fight sequence. So I really enjoy what we have. But one thing that would have been cool was seeing it done like this, where they're charging each other, punching, kicking, biting, spitting blood on each other. That just gets primitive, man. And I think that would have been interesting to see, go to the next level, if you will, of just primitive, everything's, everything's off to the side. I'm just coming after you one-on-one, and we're doing this thing. I think that would have been pretty darn cool to see that level of involvement between the two of them. That would have been great. I'm happy with what we have, but that would have been cool. So if I would have preferred to, knife through the hand, I could do without that, because we've seen it done twice. So, that would have been kind of going to the well a bit too much for me. But the last part of it though, the charging each other, punching and kicking and spitting and biting, all that part would have been interesting. I would love to have seen that, like two wild bulls charging each other. That would have been awesome. I would have loved to see that. And don't know why they took that out. Maybe they felt it was over the top. Who knows? But hopefully at some point in time, we'll get insight to that as well, as to what the thinking was behind the decision to not do it. But at least we know in our minds, we can picture what could have been. And that's what I've been doing with these scenes. But guys, I'm going to leave it there for now. All right. But again, go to Nate Reagan's channel, Reagan Productions. Go watch his video and see all of the details that are there. And then hop over to Twitter after you watch the video, and you can see Tristan's post at Brittany Vinyl. See his breakdown. It's a really well done. It's a great combination. Now with my video, it's the trifecta. So just put it all together, and there you go. But guys, I want to know, what do you think about these particular scripting scenarios that I just covered? What do you think? Would you have liked to have seen them added in, or are you happy they weren't in? I would like to know what you're thinking about it is. What are your thoughts and ideas about those things? So put that in the comments for me down below, because I love to read your ideas, and your opinions and perspectives always are great. So start typing your comments right now. Leave that there so we can have a dialogue, and I will definitely respond and see what you have to say. So do that now. But guys, that is it for this update. I'm going to be back soon, though, with more Scream and other horror movie content. So don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, this is Craven Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Thanks for watching.